just taken a little trip out today to collect my new exhaust for my XKR. I thought long and hard about my choice and still not quite sure I've made the right decision. I've done extensive research online, looking at various aftermarket systems that you can buy. A lot of them are very, very expensive. And I've spoken to a couple of specialists as well, and really unconvinced by the information that they've given me. And also the costs could be quite high. So I'll get on in a while to the route that I've chosen and what I'm going to do. To give a little bit of background on the XKR exhaust, it's similar to the XK8 exhaust. It's obviously a V8 engine, so there is two downpipes coming from each bank of cylinders. They each incorporate a catalytic converter. From the catalytic converters, it converges into one big centre box of around about 1 metre long in the centre of the car, which I believe is a relatively straight through, unrestricted box, but it combines the exhaust gases from both sides, which gives improved flow and an even flow down both sides of the exhaust, which enhances power rather than restricts it. From that box, it then goes back into two pipes again and runs down each side of the car. There's two further silencers, one each side in front of the rear axle and one box behind the rear axle. Most of the more cost-effective upgrades people do is the Adamesh exhaust system, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 basically eliminates the rear two boxes that are behind the rear axle, which improves sound. And the stage 2, if you want the sound to be even louder, it eliminates the two boxes that are in front of the rear axle. And from the research I've done on YouTube, it suggests that the boxes in front of the rear axle perhaps does the most silencing of the exhaust sound. Now, I think removing both boxes either side will be a little bit too loud for me, but I'm not sure. And so the route I've decided to go is an experiment. I've never seen anyone state that they've done this before. It's actually going to be to fit the stage 2 part of the Adamesh exhaust system only. So I won't be fitting the stage 1. So that should remove the middle two silencers on my car. It'll also give the added benefit of the over-axle exhaust pipe being changed from the original. The original cross-sectional area was very crushed, I believe for ease of manufacture. Sorry, car assembly more than manufacture. This results in a restriction at that point, which saps some of the potential power that the car could produce. So that's one of the upgrades a lot of people say is a good one to do. So my experiment is to take out those middle two boxes, which potentially do the most silencing, but leave the rear silencers in place. So we'll see how we get on. Now the Adamesh depot is only around about 15 miles from my house, so I've opted to go and pick the exhaust up. The day is horrible today, but I don't care, I'm still out driving. My thought process was, when I spoke to the specialists, they were going one of two routes. They would either put a very cheap system on, the cost-effective specialists I'm talking about, they'd either put a very cheap system on which was basically straight pipes from the catalytic converter backwards with one silencer on each side. So it didn't include the crossover of exhaust gases. So potentially that isn't a good option. It would reduce the power, might make a nicer sound, but reduce the power output of the engine rather than enhance it. The other option would be to build a system that does have the centre section that combines the gases included. But each time I got the feedback on that from the specialist, the over-axle exhaust pipe was potentially going to be very costly and complicated for them to fabricate. So that really was a big factor and a big part of their labour costs. They were quoting me around about 6 hours labour to fabricate an exhaust. So that helped my decision. I thought if I go for this stage 2 Adamesh exhaust pipe for each side, it eliminates the 2 exhaust silencers, the middle ones, and also it changes the restriction over the axle. If I wish to enhance the sound further, I think I have a few options open to me. The back boxes are standard on the XK8, XKR. I understand are very straight through exhaust silencers at the back. They do some silencing but not others. So if I find what I do is a little bit too noisy for what I want, I can go to one of these, go to a specialist and get them to fabricate a rear section for me with an exhaust silencer that just silences a little bit more. There's also things that I could do with the big box at the front. I could have that removed and just have an X section put in place which would combine the gases without having any sort of silencer. That potentially could increase the sound. Or I could have a box put in there that perhaps had more silencing as well as the mixing of the exhaust gases. So what I'm going to do before I fit the exhaust, I'm going to do some test runs in this and record some sound. So I'll do that before and after. I'll do it along the same road conditions, etc. And therefore you can hear the difference. I'll do the same inside the cabin. And this being a convertible, I'll do it with the roof up and the roof down. So I'll do it probably under acceleration and a cruise at around about 60. And I'll do some recording from behind the car to hear the tick over noise as well. So let's see how we get on. Hopefully it will be interesting and hopefully I'll be pleased. Traction control used on that acceleration.